Hello, welcome to this video on reading coordinates. This topic is unbelievably important and you need to know about coordinates, in year 7, 8, year 9, year 10, year 11, year 12, year 13, whatever you do, okay? Ultra important. So what is a coordinate? Okay, well, a coordinate is just a way of defining a position, all right, on a grid. It tells you the position of something on a grid. And coordinates are written like this. You have two numbers inside a bracket. So something comma something. All right. The first number is called the x coordinate. And that tells you horizontal movement, left or right, and how many squares. The second coordinate is called the y coordinate, which tells you vertical movement, up or down. Probably best to show you with examples. Okay, so here we go. Look, I got lots of points on a grid here. All right, and it's my fault. I chopped this image off a bit short. On a coordinate grid, you'll always have these two important lines. One's horizontal, one's vertical. The horizontal line, which is fixed, okay, that's called the x-axis, and it's often labeled just x for brevity. And the vertical axis is called the y-axis, okay, often just labeled y as well. See, both the axes, they cross at 0, okay? This point's got a special name, but I'll come back to that later. Okay, so if we look at point A, for example, which is here, we know it's going to be in this format, okay? And the x coordinate goes first. Now, the x coordinate is how far you have to move from the very center of the graph. It's called the origin, the start of the graph and the grid. Well, you can see to get to A from the center, we have to go 1 right and 2 up. So the x movement is 1 right, which is just written as 1. And the y movement, see, is 1 square along for the x movement, and we go up 2. So along 1, up 2, that is the coordinate of point A. I would pronounce this 1, 2. Well, shall we look at B, for example? Can you see again, if I highlight point B, again, you must start from the center of the graph. You have to go 1 right again. And this time you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up. So B is 1, 5. And you must get the numbers in the right order. Otherwise, you're going to go backwards pretty much, okay? You'll go left and right instead of up and down, which is not going to work. Right, where is point C then? Point C is here, look. So, again, point C is 1 square right again, but this time it's 2 squares down. Now, you can see 2 squares down. If you wrote that as 2, that means 2 up. I think by common sense, 2 down should be written as -2, shouldn't it? Or -2. In fact, you could even see the -2 there, okay? So a negative number for the y coordinate means to move down. Again, point D, here it is. Well, again, it's 1 right again, I think. Yeah, 1 right. This time, 1, 2, 3 down. So 1, -3. Let's get rid of this here a minute. Let's look at point E then. Where is point E? Point E is here. Interesting, this one. So from the center, how do I get to E? Well, I think I go 2 right. And do I go up or down? No. There's no vertical movement. So it'd be 2, 0. I go 2 to the right, and I go 0 up or down. Point F, I'll leave point F to you, okay? Because all the answers are on the next page. Point F is rather easy, in my opinion. Okay, let's look for a more interesting point, is it? Let's have a look maybe at, what can we look at? Should we have a look at point T maybe? Point T, is it? How are we getting to point T from the center then? Well, This time we go 1, 2, 3 left. Now remember, 3 means 3 right. -3 means 3 left. And you can see, look, -3 is right there. So we went 3 left, 1, 2, 3. Then we went 1, 2, 3, 4 up, which is +4. So t is -3, 4. Shall we have a look at maybe w, which is here? Right, w. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 left, which is -5. And 0 movement up or down. -5, 0. Now this is easy. And then let's look for one more interesting point. Is it? What about point V then? Is it point V in the lower quadrant? 1, 2, 3 left, and this time 1, 2, 3 down. So that will be -3, -3. Okay. Right, your turn now. Okay, fill in the blanks. All right, and then come back when you're ready for the answers. Okay, welcome back. Here are the answers. All right, now the only one thing you might notice here is that on the grid there was no point O. There was no point called capital O. But on my answers there is a point called capital O, sorry. It's because the point O is very special. Point O is the exact center of the graph, the starting point you always count from. Okay, so the starting point on a graph is always called capital O, and it's always the point 0, 0. This point is called the origin. Now, origin means where something starts, and all this graph starts at the origin. That's always our starting point. Okay, so if you see a grid in the future with a coordinate called O, and it's not 0, 0, that's a bad graph. Okay, but apart from that, I think this topic's really easy. Just remember, you go along first, then up or down. Some people say, as a reminder, you go along the corridor, then up and down the stairs. All right, to help them remember. But otherwise, that's it. So thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Stay safe. I'll see you soon. Nice.